Some call her love. Now first begotten is called Christ. Since he has authority from his Father, he created a multitude of angels without number for retinue from spirit and light. His disciples said to him, Lord, reveal to us about the one called man, that we also may know his glory exactly. The perfect Savior said, whoever has ears to hear, let him hear. First begetter Father is called Adam, eye of light, because he came from shining light, and his holy angels, who are ineffable and shadowless, ever rejoice with joy in their reflecting, which they received from their Father. The whole kingdom of Son of Man, who is called Son of God, is full of ineffable and shadowless joy, and unchanging jubilation, they rejoicing over his imperishable glory, which has never been heard until now, nor has it been revealed in the eons that came afterward. In their worlds I came from self-begotten and first infinite light, that I might reveal everything to you. Again, his disciples said, tell us clearly how they came down from the invisibilities, from the immortal to the world that dies. The perfect Savior said, Son of Man consented with Sophia, his consort, and revealed a great androgynous light. His male name is designated Savior, begetter of all things. His female name is designated all begetter Sophia. Some call her Pistis. All who come into the world, like a drop from the light, are sent by him to the world of Almighty, that they might be guarded by him. And the bond of his forgetfulness bound him by the will of Sophia, that the matter might be revealed through it to the whole world in poverty, concerning his Almighty's arrogance and blindness and the ignorance that he was named. But I came from the places above by the will of the great light, I who escaped from that bond. I have cut off the work of the robbers. I have awakened that drop that was sent from Sophia, that it might bear much fruit through me, and be perfected and not again be defective, but be joined through me, the great Savior, that his glory might be revealed, so that Sophia might also be justified in regard to that defect, that her sons might not again become defective but might attain honor and glory and go up to their Father, and know the words of the masculine light. And you were sent by the Son, who was sent that you might receive light, and remove yourselves from the forgetfulness of the authorities, and that it might not again come to appearance because of you, namely, the unclean rubbing that is from the fearful fire that came from their fleshly part. Tread upon their malicious intent. Then Thomas said to him, Lord, Savior, how many are the eons of those who surpass the heavens? The perfect Savior said, I praise you because you ask about the great eons, for your roots are in the infinities. Now when those whom I have discussed earlier were revealed, he provided, pages 109 and 110 are missing, replaced here by the corresponding section in the Berlin Gnostic Codex number 8502, the beginning of which is somewhat different from the final partial sentence of 3108, the broken off sentence. Now when those whom I have discussed earlier were revealed, self-begetter Father very soon created 12 eons for retinue for the 12 angels. All these are perfect and good. Thus the defect in the female appeared. And he said to him, how many are the eons of the immortals, starting from the infinities? The perfect Savior said, whoever has ears to hear, let him hear. The first eon is that of Son of Man, who is called first begetter, who is called Savior, who has appeared. The second eon is that of man, who is called Adam, eye of light. That which embraces these is the eon over which there is no kingdom, the eon of the eternal infinite God, the self-begotten eon of the eons that are in it, the eon of the immortals, whom I described earlier, the eon above the seventh, that appeared from Sophia, which is the first eon. Now immortal man revealed eons and powers and kingdoms, and gave authority to all who appear in him, that they might exercise their desires and tell the last things that are above chaos. For these consented with each other and revealed every magnificence, even from spirit, multitudinous lights that are glorious and without number. These were called in the beginning, that is, the first eon and the second and the third. The first is called unity and rest. Each one has its own name. For the third eon was designated assembly from the great multitude that appeared in one, a multitude revealed themselves. Now because the multitudes gather and come to a unity we call them assembly of the eighth. It appeared as androgynous and was named partly as male and partly as female. The male is called assembly, while the female is called life, that it might be shown that from a female came the life for all the eons. And every name was received, starting from the beginning. For from his concurrence with his thought, the powers very soon appeared who were called gods. And the gods of the gods from their wisdom revealed gods. And the gods from their wisdom revealed lords. And the lords of the lords from their thinkings revealed lords. And the lords from their power revealed archangels. The archangels from their words revealed angels. From them, semblances appeared, with structure and form and name for all the Aeons and their worlds. And the immortals, whom I have just described, all have authority from immortal man, who is called Silence, because by reflecting without speech all her own majesty was perfected. For since the imperishabilities had the authority, each created a great kingdom in the eighth, and also thrones and temples and firmaments for their own majesties. For these all came by the will of the Mother of the universe. Then the holy apostles said to him, Lord, Savior, tell us about those who are in the Aeons, since it is necessary for us to ask about them. The perfect Savior said, if you ask about anything, I will tell you. They created hosts of angels, myriads without number, for retinue and their glory. They created virgin spirits, the ineffable and unchangeable lights. For they have no sickness nor weakness, but it is will. BG 115:14 adds here, and they came to be in an instant. Thus the Aeons were completed quickly in the heavens and the firmaments in the glory of immortal man and Sophia, his consort, the area from which every Aeon and the world and those that came afterward took their pattern for their creation of likenesses in the heavens of chaos and their worlds. And all natures, starting from the revelation of chaos, are in the light that shines without shadow, and joy that cannot be described, and unutterable jubilation. They ever delight themselves on account of their unchanging glory and the immeasurable rest, which cannot be described among all the Aeons that came to be afterward, and all their powers. Now all that I have just said to you, I said that you might shine in light more than these. Mary said to him, Holy Lord, where did your disciples come from, and where are they going, and what should they do here? The perfect Savior said to them, I want you to know that Sophia, the mother of the universe and the consort, desired by herself to bring these to existence without her male consort. But by the will of the Father of the universe, that his unimaginable goodness might be revealed, he created the curtain between the immortals and those that came afterward, that the consequence might follow. BG 118 Every Aeon and chaos, that the defect of the female might appear, and it might come about that era would contend with her. And these became the curtain of spirit. From the Aeons above the emanations of light, as I have said already, a drop from light and spirit came down to the lower regions of Almighty and chaos, that their molded forms might appear from that drop, for it is a judgment on him, Archbagator, who is called Yaldabaoth. That drop revealed their molded forms through the breath, as a living soul. It was withered and it slumbered in the ignorance of the soul. When it became hot from the breath of the great light of the male, and it took thought, then names were received by all who are in the world of chaos, and all things that are in it through that immortal one, when the breath blew into him. But when this came about by the will of Mother Sophia, so that immortal man might piece together the garments therefore a judgment on the robbers, he then welcomed the blowing of that breath. But since he was soul-like, he was not able to take that power for himself until the number of chaos should be complete, that is, when the time determined by the great angel is complete. Now I have taught you about immortal man and have loosed the bonds of the robbers from him. I have broken the gates of the pitiless ones in their presence. I have humiliated their malicious intent, and they all have been shamed and have risen from their ignorance. Because of this, then, I came here, that they might be joined with that spirit and breath, three continues and might from two become one, just as from the first, that you might yield much fruit and go up to him who is from the beginning, in ineffable joy and glory and honor and grace of the Father of the universe. Whoever, then, knows the Father and pure knowledge will depart to the Father and repose in unbegotten Father. But whoever knows him defectively will depart to the defect and the rest of the eighth. Now whoever knows immortal spirit of light in silence, through reflecting and consent in the truth, let him bring me signs of the invisible one, and he will become a light in the spirit of silence. Whoever knows Son of Man in knowledge and love, let him bring me a sign of Son of Man, that he might depart to the dwelling places with those in the eighth. Behold, I have revealed to you the name of the Perfect One, the whole will of the Mother of the holy angels, that the masculine multitude may be completed here, that there might appear in the Aeons, the infinities and those that came to be in the untraceable wealth of the great invisible Spirit, that they all might take from his goodness, even the wealth of their rest that has no kingdom over it. I came from first who was sent, that I might reveal to you him who is from the beginning, because of the arrogance of Archbagator and his angels, since they say about themselves that they are gods. And I came to remove them from their blindness, that I might tell everyone about the God who is above the universe. Therefore, tread upon their graves, humiliate their malicious intent, and break their yoke and arouse my own. I have given you authority over all things as sons of light, that you might tread upon their power with your feet. These are the things the blessed Savior said, and he disappeared from them. Then all the disciples were in great, ineffable joy in the Spirit from that day on. and his disciples began to preach the gospel of God, the eternal, imperishable Spirit.